In this example, we're going to read through this situation, we're going to define a couple of variables, and then write and solve a linear system. So Olga and Maria are each improving their yards by planting geraniums and hibiscus plants. They purchased their supplies from the same store. Okay, so this sentence is important because it means that the geraniums and the hibiscus plants will cost the same amount of money for both people. So Olga spent $225 on 4 geraniums and 7 hibiscus plants, and Maria spent $326 on 6 geraniums and 10 hibiscus plants. So determine the cost of each plant. Okay, so since we're determining the cost of each plant and we know we have geraniums and hibiscus plants, then I'm going to say G is the cost of one geranium plant, and that's going to be measured in dollars, and H is going to be the cost of one hibiscus plant, and that's measured in dollars. Okay, so let's go ahead and write a couple of equations here. So we know that Olga spent $225, and she did so on 4 geraniums and 7 hibiscus plants. So we can say 4 geraniums and 7 hibiscus plants cost $225. Let's talk a little bit about where we got this equation. So if G is the cost of 1 geranium plant, then 4 times G will be the cost of 4 geranium plants, which she purchased. And if H is the cost of 1 hibiscus plant, then 7 times H will be the cost of 7 hibiscus plants. And again, that's what she purchased. So the total cost of the geraniums and the hibiscus plants together added up to $225. So that's where this equation came from and how that works. And Maria will be the same way. So we see that Maria 6 geraniums and 10 hibiscus plants. So 6 geraniums and 10 hibiscus plants, and that costs $326. Okay, now I have a really nice system of equations. Looks like I can use elimination on these, and G has coefficients that are a little smaller than H. So 4 and 6, well, I know the least common multiple of 4 and 6 is 12, so if I were to multiply the 4 by 3 and the 6 by 2, they each would be 12. But of course, one of these needs to be negative, so let's go ahead and make that 2 negative. And now let's take this 3 and run it through the first equation, and the negative 2 and run it through the second equation, and see what we have. So 12G plus 21H looks like 675, and then minus 12G minus 20H equals, what's that, negative 652. So when I add these two equations together, my g's cancel, and again that was by design. 21h minus 20h, well, that's just 1h. So it looks like h will equal 23. Okay, now that I know the value for one of my variables, I'm going to go ahead and plug it back in up here. So I could do so with the 4g plus 7h equals 225. So 4g plus 7, and the value of h is 23. So 4g plus, and now let's see, 7 times 23 should be something like 161. So when I subtract 161 from both sides, 4g equals, what, 64? So division by 4 will yield a value for g, that is 16. Okay, now that I know the values for both variables, I can go ahead and write my sentence, which kind of summarizes the situation. So I know that h and g represented costs of plants here. So h, which was 23, was the cost of one hibiscus plant, and g, which was 16, is the cost of one geranium plant. So the sentences I'm going to write will look something like this. The cost of one geranium plant is $16, and the cost of one hibiscus plant is $23. Okay, and right here is kind of my sentence which summarizes the situation given the information I had in the original word problem.